And now, Tanae, I hand it over to you. So take
All
it.
right. Good morning, everybody. April 28th, 2024. This is Sunday, and today's daily word is inner peace. I call upon the infinite peace of God within. I find peace in the beauty around me. A clear day, flowers swaying in the breeze, a gentle flowing stream, all reveal the presence of God and reflect my inner nature. Lasting peace resides within my mind and heart. If that peace is temporarily disturbed, if I am feeling out of sorts about my life or the situation of a dear one, I draw upon my strength and stability by turning away from outer circumstances and going within. I quiet the chatter of my mind, perhaps thinking of one of my peaceful places, imagining the breeze caressing my face and hearing the trickling stream. In this quiet state, I connect with my source and begin to feel a settling calmness. I consider my life from the higher perspective and remain centered and serene, no matter what is happening in my life or in the world. And from scripture, it reads from the book of John, chapter 20, verse 26. It reads, "Peace be with you." Amen.
Amen. And thank you, Tanae. Thank you for sharing that and coming out. Appreciate that. And let's dive right in here. Let's dive. We're going to wrap it up. It's already the 28th of the month already, right? Oh my goodness gracious. And thank you for the messages and the texts and the little cards that came in. I love this from Helen Ann here of the for happy anniversary for Tanae and I. And we appreciate you and thank you all for looking in and being here. Thank you for inviting other people. JJ getting out there and inviting other people. Thank you for joining us, Nancy, and all the new people looking in. I know we have a lot of new people that this time just is not maybe convenient for them to join us live, but I do get messages. I'll share a couple of those with you. I do get messages and texts and things on Messenger and comments and YouTube message coming at us from all over the place. So we'll share a couple of those later on this morning. But we're going to wrap it up here this Sunday. We've been talking about we've been talking about wealth, prosperity, and abundance. After all, the ministry's name is Unity Prosperity Ocean International. I started it back in 2015, and it was to spread the message of whole life prosperity, not just dollars and cents, but looking at every area of our lives, health and physical fitness and relationships and on and on and on. Like I got some background noise. If you got something going on, make sure you mute yourself there.
It was
So,
background noise, and then you sped up really fast, as if you
oh,
were a tape recorder going fast
wonderful
forward.
world of technology. Thanks for letting me know today, but I don't have any control over that. So we'll just keep it going. Today, we again wind up our prosperity and abundance and friendship month. But hey, keep inviting, keep sharing, keep telling people about this. We appreciate it. But this month's really been such a joy because this is what I really love to share about and around. And it's been such a joy because we've been able to share the love of this community with others, to share the light of our hearts with new hearts, new visitors. Thank you again for being here. And to share the wealth of spiritual understanding that we explore each and every week, especially this month, as we have become more awake and aware of the sea of abundance that we're swimming in. And thank you again to those who told a friend about us and those of you who have shared our Sunday messages and morning inspiration pieces. So far, we've been able to share love, light, and wealth and prosperity and our message with hundreds of new friends. We are quickly approaching 7,000 followers. So that's pretty amazing. We should be there within the next week or so. So that's really really cool. One of the successful, evolving ministries, we call them, or how they used to be called alternative unity ministries. We are a unity ministry operating under the 501c3 umbrella of Unity Worldwide Ministry. And this entire month, we've taken a spiritual look at wealth to gain greater clarity about what it is to be truly wealthy. Now, today we conclude our month long topic celebrating prosperity and wealth and our source with an uppercase S. And we celebrate all the wealth that is now in our lives. And through celebration, we will create an avenue for more to enter into it. But before we do that, we've been doing a brief new thought primer at the beginning of all of these because we do have new individuals joining us every Sunday. And when we say new thought, we're talking about those that follow divine science, religious science, science of mind, and of course, unity. Tanae and I are divine science ministers. I am a unity ordained minister and an international metaphysical ministries minister as well. And I look to Dr. Ernest Holmes a lot, one of my favorites, along with the co founder of Unity, Charles Fillmore. Dr. Ernest Holmes said many, many, many profound things. And one of my favorites appears several times in the Science of Mind textbook, where he writes, love points the way and law makes the way possible. At the universal macrocosm level, this happens automatically. It is God's love that was the stimulus for our world and God's law that brought our world into being. God's love was the impetus for the idea of you and me. And God's law brought you and me into being. But at the human level, love is not a given and automatic. It, it is our nature, right? It's our divine nature, our essence. But we have learned not to love. So when we wake up and become conscious, it's our job to let love point the way. Our theme for today of celebrating the riches of life is a way to let love point the way. So, what does it mean to celebrate? Of course, you and I both know what that word means, but I always like, and those of you who have been with me for a long time, you know that I always like looking up the meanings of the words and where they come from and the histories. And so about celebrate, I'm sharing this right now because I was a little bit surprised just to look to the mainstream media or Webster, Merriam-Webster dictionary to see what they had to say about the word celebrate. Now, this isn't a spiritual dictionary or Charles Fillmore dictionary, Merriam-Webster. And I was surprised to find the first two definitions. Number one is to perform a sacrament or solemn ceremony publicly and with appropriate rites. The second definition, again in Merriam Webster, says to honor, especially by solemn ceremonies. I was really surprised at that, but that's not what I meant for today. A later definition is closer, and the later definition says to observe a notable occasion with festivities. Now, I like that, but that's not quite where I wanted to go today. Let me let me go a little bit deeper into where I want to go today by sharing with you all a another story. A little story. One Sunday, a visiting minister gave a sermon about celebrating all the special moments and experiences in our lives, big, small, notable, or otherwise. During the lengthy talk, he spoke of many things in his life he had to celebrate, including his beautiful family, the blessings he received as a minister, his good health, fine education. a reliable vehicle, a nice car, and on where he lived, and on it went. Then, with a microphone in hand, he began to move through the congregation to ask congregants about the blessed moments they could celebrate. Sir, he cheerfully addressed one gentleman sitting in the crowd, can you tell us about a special moment in your life that you would like to celebrate right now? The man gave the microphone. He said, yes, very quickly. The time I went to church and we had a short sermon. Oh boy. Well, that's not quite what I meant either, but I think you get my drift. In my mind, celebrating is pausing, taking a moment or two or three to acknowledge a moment, an experience, large or small, momentous or not, be grateful for it, to appreciate it, to revel in it, perhaps even to do a happy dance for it, right? So that's what we're going to do. Well, do a bit of acknowledging, appreciating, and being grateful. I don't know about the happy dance. A lot of you have your cameras off. I see a few of them have them on. So if you want to do a happy dance as we move along, that's okay too. Uh, but we're just going to keep moving along here, and you can do that inner happy dance. All right. So you never know with us. We can just spring into dance, right? And then we're going to look at having a celebratory attitude throughout life to create greater and greater good. Because remember, love points the way and law makes the way possible. And I said I was going to share a couple messages that came in because I get these and they come in all the time. Because remember, I do the podcast as well, the Genesis frequency. And I received two beautiful celebratory messages this week, one via email, the other, I think it was on Messenger or on a comment. And I wanted to share them with you. The first is from Leah. And she says, since we have been focusing on wealth this month, I've been using the simple affirmation, infinite abundance flows into my life. I use that all day, every day. And I don't just say it, I truly know it. So many wonderful things have happened. I've seen an increase in abundance in literally every area of my life. And I've also become so much more aware of the abundance that was already there that I just took for granted. From the smallest of things to the biggest, it's like I'm seeing life in a whole new way. Very cool. End quote. Thank you, Leah. And the second is a website comment from Kelly. Reverend Stephen, I've been meaning to tell you all month that I've been listening to your Sunday messages, your podcast, and started to listening to your free 17-day personal prosperity series again, and it has changed my life. I signed into it 2 years ago and had amazing results. You should absolutely plug this tool next Sunday. It's a gift to have it available 24/7, especially at no cost. You could charge thousands for these lessons. Thank you. Oh, that's a good idea, huh? I don't know about that. But anyway, I thank you both, Leah and Kelly, not just for the kind words, because they did indeed make my heart sing, but just for stepping out and sharing that and for the both of you, you stopped and took the time to celebrate your awareness, and the subsequent new experiences. Thanks for being living examples of what I plan to share today without even knowing it. Way to go. So now how about some personal appreciation? How often do you stop and appreciate this amazing body temple that you were given with its five senses? How often do you celebrate your ability to see, to hear, to taste, to smell, and to touch? Maybe never. So right now, Celebrate our ability to see. Just look around right where you are right now. Just take in what you take for granted, all the beautiful colors and images available to you. Beautiful time of year here in Northwest Florida to do that. But how about let's just not celebrate your ability to see with your physical eyes? How about celebrating your ability to see inwardly, to discern, to uncover, to understand a concept, to get something, to gain insights, and to have aha moments? Isn't that a wonderful feeling when that happens? So say aloud with me, I celebrate my ability to see with my outer and inner eyes. Don't worry, we'll do it again. Thank you, Spirit. I celebrate my ability to see with my outer and inner eyes. Thank you, Spirit. Now let's celebrate our ability to hear, not just sounds, but to hear life, life with an uppercase L, all around you. And what about your ability to hear the inner voice, to get still, to enter into the silence, to listen to your higher self, which will never steer you wrong? Never. How often do you celebrate that? Well, here's your chance. Again, we're going to affirm and give thanks, celebrating this. Say with me, I celebrate my ability to hear and to be guided. Thank you, infinite presence. I celebrate my ability to hear and to be guided. Thank you, infinite presence. And right now, celebrate your ability to taste. Yes, to taste, not only when you're eating, but your ability to taste, to savor the richness of life. Here we go again with me. Thanks be to God for my ability to taste the wonders of life. Thanks be to God for my ability to taste the wonders of life. Now, you can smell right where you are. Just breathe it in. Take a deep breath right now through your nose, celebrating your ability to smell and also your ability to discern when things are not right for you. We all do it, right? I smell something fishy. We say that, right? It's another way to appreciate our sense of smell together. Thank you, life, for the ability to smell and to discern. Thank you, life, for the ability to smell and to discern. And we can touch, right? You can touch right now. You can touch one hand to the other. You can touch. Maybe touch the hand of someone next to you if you're in the room with someone else, if that's comfortable to do that. And not just your ability to physically touch, but your ability to be touched and to touch another, just having that ability and to touch each other heart to heart, the way so many of you touched us heart to heart. You touched us through a text message or a card that you sent. Thank you. But we can touch in those ways through consciousness. So let us affirm together again. Thank you, oh great creator, for the ability to touch with my hands and with my heart. Again, Thank you, O great Creator, for the ability to touch with my hands and with my heart. And then what about appreciating and celebrating our ability, looking to our faculties of mind, our ability to think, to reason, to remember, to imagine, and to dream? Thank you, essence of all good for my mind. Thank you, essence of all good for my mind. Oh, excuse me. And yet, sometimes it's our ability to think, to reason, to dream, and to imagine that can get us into trouble, can it? Because we reason that the bad will only get worse. We reason when we imagine catastrophe, when we dream up worst case scenarios, and when we think negative thoughts. And to stay in alignment with what we're talking about this month, a lot of that is around financial issues, isn't it? Remember the first two Sundays of the month when we took a fresh look at Jesus's words about the rich man getting into heaven and how they really have been misinterpreted and thus have promoted poverty thinking for decades and centuries and millennia and just forever, for ages, how they have led to deep-seated belief, a deep-seated belief in humankind, race consciousness, really, that we can't be spiritual and have wealth. Well, there's another passage that has done just as much damage, in my opinion. And I think it's a fundamental cause of where we often go in our minds around money. Does anyone out there want to take a stab at what that is? And you can take a stab at that today, as long as you didn't look at on any of my notes. I don't know if I left them on the string, but there's another passage that I think really has been just as instrumental as keeping people out of the prosperity consciousness. Any ideas? Or does anybody want to type it in out there? And
You want to say it?
what's that? What did you
Money
say,
is the
Nate?
root of all evil.
There you go. Bingo. Did you look at my notes, John?
No,
All right. Good deal. Well, it's actually Paul's warning to Timothy that actually says love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. We find that in First Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. Very good. However, excuse me, a closer study of this passage reveals why Paul spoke of this. And remember, a lot of people leave that out. It's the love of money that is the root of all kinds of evil, not money itself. But we're going to take a little different angle of this because we hear that angle a lot. But a closer study of this passage reveals what Paul was talking about here. See, Paul had put Timothy in charge of the early Christians' work at Ephesus, a center of learning and commerce. It was it was noted for its temple that had been built to worship the goddess Diana. In other words, the city of Ephesus was a city of idolatry and superstition, a city of general materialism that placed no emphasis upon God as the source of its supply. Thus, it's easy to see why Paul wrote to Timothy, warning him of these people's materialistic view of money. However, Paul also instructed Timothy in the same letter to preach to these material minded people in this way. He told them, and you can find this in First Timothy chapter 6, verse 17. Charge them that they are rich in this present world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but on God, who gives us richly all things to enjoy. Again, Paul was simply reminding Timothy to remind the people that God is the source of our supply, and that Timothy was to instruct the rich among his followers about this eternal prosperity secret. I love this angle that we approach this and see this more deeply, and you can find this. Remember, I told you I pulled out a lot of my prosperity books, and this all comes from Catherine Ponder's Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. Isn't it wonderful to get a new perspective on some of these ancient writings that have, again, for millennia, had humankind in its grips of poverty consciousness? God is our source, and our consciousness of God as our source is our unfailing and immediate supply. Catherine Ponder in the Dynamic Laws of Prosperity also writes, she says, so let's get the record straight. There's nothing wrong with money or in our wanting money. It is a God-given medium of exchange, and there's nothing evil about that. The moment we let go of those false ideas that someone ignorantly taught us years ago, we will find that money circulates in our financial affairs much more easily and more satisfyingly. So now that we have this new perspective on financial good, let's move forward with some celebratory attitudes that make you a magnet for more good. We know we are vibrational beings, right? And that we attract into our lives whatever resonates with our vibrational level. When we are vibrating at a low place, we attract experiences that are on that low level. You've heard me talk about this for years if you've been with me for any length of time. That's why I named my podcast The Genesis Frequency. I love looking at, there's a vibrational scale in one of these books I'm talking about, this book by David Hawkins. He's got a vibrational scale in there, and he lays out in his book, Power versus Force. And there's another one in Esther and Jerry Hicks' book. They lay out in their book, Ask and It Is Given. I know many of you have that one as well. And they're very similar. And we know, and I've done talks on this, that love and joy and appreciation are all right there at the top. So if we're vibrating love, joy, and appreciation, in other words, in a celebratory consciousness, we attract high vibrational experiences. Remember, love points the way, and the law makes the way possible. This is what we're talking about here. Let me ask you this. What is your attitude when you receive a large bill? And some of you that went through Prosperity Plus with me, we spent some time on this. But what is your attitude when you receive a large bill? Oh no, can't afford this. How am I possibly going to pay it? I sometimes slip into that too. But what is your attitude? Maybe time to examine that again. And I understand the learned tendency to do this. Oh no, that will not serve you. How about this instead? I am so excited to see how God works this out. I am so excited to see how God works this out. I love managing and massaging these larger bills now. I got this. I got this. I am so excited to see how God works this out. And when you pay your bills, how do you feel? The most important thing is that when you pay your bills, you find a way, any way, to make yourself feel good. Never pay your bills when you don't feel good, because you will just bring bigger bills to you. Remember, vibration and energy, frequency. To change what you're feeling, you need to use your imagination. You have this power to do this. Use your imagination to turn your bills into something that makes you feel better. What if you imagined that they're not really bills at all, but instead you've decided to donate money to each company or person out of the goodness of your heart because of the wonderful service they provide you and the world? They provided me with such a wonderful service, the electricity to heat my home, the water that cleanses me and nourishes me. Feel love when you pay for anything. Feel love when you hand over money. Feel love with all your heart by imagining how much your money is helping the company and the staff who work for the company. You're helping to support them in the service they provide you whenever you pay for anything. As you hand over your credit card, your debit card, cash, or a check, imagine an abundance of money for the person you are handing it to and mean it. Whatever you give out, you receive back. You receive back. It's the law of circulation. When you receive your salary or your pension or your Social Security check, be grateful for it so it multiplies. Most people don't even feel good when they are paid or they get that income or that check because they're so worried about how to make their income last. They miss an incredible opportunity to give love every time they're paid. Even if it's just giving love to yourself for thanking your 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 past self for saving or for contributing to a Social Security plan. When money comes into your hands, no matter how little it is, no matter how great it is, be grateful. That's why I stop and I cherish finding pennies, finding nickels and dimes. Whatever it is, be grateful when it comes into your hands. Remember, whatever you're grateful for multiplies. Gratitude is the great multiplier. And we know that gratitude in advance for our good is one of the greatest prosperity secrets that we can practice. Not really a secret. Anytime you hear of another person receiving more money or success, get excited because it means you're on that frequency. It is evidence that you're on a good frequency. So be as excited as if it were happening to you because your reaction to the news is everything. If you react with joy and excitement for the other person, you are saying yes to more money and success for yourself. If you react by feeling disappointed or envious that it's not happening to you, your bad feelings are dropping your frequency. You are saying no to more money and success for yourself. Now, those ideas you can find in The Power by Rhonda Byrne, who also wrote The Secret. We're going to wrap things up today. I want to bring our wonderful, sweet time together this month of sharing the wealth, sharing abundance and prosperity by sharing the Optimist Creed. It's been a while since we've done this. The Optimist Creed by Christian Larson, but modified by Rhonda Byrne, and then maybe a little bit more by yours truly. And I want us to do this as somewhat of a meditation. So I am going to add a little bit of music to the background here. So I invite you to just get extra comfortable, being fully present in this eternal moment of right here and right now, taking a deep breath as we go within, draw into that secret place of the Most High or our secret room, closing the outer door, so to speak. and allow these words to actually be a promise to yourself, affirmative statements, and something that you align with and blend into your life. I promise myself to be so strong that nothing can disturb my peace of mind. I promise myself to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person I meet. I promise myself to make all my friends feel there is something worthwhile in them. I promise myself to look at the sunny side of everything and make my optimism come true. I promise myself to think only of the best, to work only for the best, to expect only the best. I promise myself to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as I am about my own. I promise myself to forget about the mistakes of the past and to press on to the great achievements of the future. I promise myself to wear a cheerful expression at all times and to give a smile to every living creature I meet. I promise myself to give so much time to improving myself that I have no time to criticize others. I promise myself to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. To think well of myself and proclaim this fact to the world, not in loud words, but in great deeds. I promise myself to live in faith that the whole world is on my side, so long as I am true to the best that is in me. And I promise myself to consistently and regularly celebrate the riches of life. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. I invite you to gently come back to your surroundings. Come back here into our space. If you're here with us on Zoom, please stay with us as I say farewell to all of you looking in on our social media page, looking in on YouTube, looking in on Facebook, looking in on other Ministries. Thank you for being here. We truly appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you, and we love you. God bless you.